Hello, everyone. Today, July 22nd, 2020, Wednesday, Hump Day, is the first ever episode of the Lady Black Kaleidoscope Project. Yay! Isn't it exciting? I'm excited, if you can't tell already. I am Tracy Abner, and I just want to welcome you to this experience and this experiment that I am about to embark on for the next 365 days or so. So, you're probably wondering, what is a Lady Black Kaleidoscope? So, a Lady Black Kaleidoscope is pretty self-explanatory, but I want to explain it anyway. It's a person who's a lady, obviously a lady like me, and a black kaleidoscope. So black and kaleidoscope, they're an oxymoron, because a kaleidoscope is something with mirrors that is full of color, and then black is the absence of color. And those two things are very contradictory, as I and probably many other people are. I'm somebody, when I was growing up, I was too white for black people and too black for white people. I had a very dichotomous experience at first, but then it kind of merged together and became this kaleidoscopic experience. Upbringing. I had my mother and my grandmother were the OGs of being Lady Black Kaleidoscopes. I had an incredible upbringing. I went to private Catholic school for 12 years. I'm in Philadelphia. This is my childhood bedroom that I'm living in right now. But I upped it, because I'm an adult, but I'm still a big kid at heart. So anyway, so I went to school in the suburbs, Philadelphia suburbs, but I came home to the inner city of West Philadelphia, and those were two incredibly homogenous neighborhoods. Out in the suburbs for elementary school, I went to a kind of solidly middle class neighborhood of Drexel Hill, which is in Delaware County, home of Tina Fey. And then for high school, I went to a school out on the infamous or famous, whatever you want to call it, Main Line, which was a very upper class type of environment. And every single day, I would in grade school, I was school bused out to the suburbs. And then in high school, I took public transportation to my high school. And I had this really interesting dichotomy, which I think a lot of people in my generation and previous generations before me with integration, it's been since 1954 with Brown versus the Board of Education, where there was integration of schools, where a lot of people, there was a lot of integration, black kids going to white schools, which of course caused a huge problem and everything. And it's kind of ironic because now it's more segregated than ever. So, But anyway, so I lived a dichotomy for 12 years, and I really struggled with my identity because, look at my skin. I'm black. Or I'm just someone who has a lot of melanin in their skin. I am not, the world sees me as black. I see myself as me, as Tracy, as this kaleidoscope. My mom, who raised me by herself with the help of my grandmother, exposed me to everything, literally everything. And that was amazing. I mean, my mom took me as many places. I don't know a lot of inner city girls who by the age of 14 went to two of the natural wonders of the world. I went to Niagara Falls and the Grand Canyon. So, which was pretty awesome. And just, but at the same time, my mom knowing that she was going to send me to a overwhelmingly, virtually all white private school, that I wasn't going to get Black history. So she exposed me. She gave me books. We watched documentaries, any kind of Black anything that came to town, any art exhibit, anything. My mom took me to it, and so I was somebody who was very proud of my Blackness, very proud of my heritage. My mom raised me to be that way. But on the other side, I was exposed to non-Black things every single day, at school, through school and my friends and everything, but also at home. My mom and my grandmother were into all different kinds of cultures and things. I mean, watched a lot of the Travel Channel and everything like that. So I had this really kaleidoscopic experience. And Lady, the lady part of it. So my high school was Mary Mercy Academy, which is an all-girls private Catholic high school on the main line, and their phrase was "Girls will be girls, but marrying girls will be ladies." And my mom always raised me to be a lady, to be classy. I mean, it's my version of classy. I mean, I'm still, you know, but it's someone who's elegant and who carries themselves with class and everything like that. You don't have to be snobby. You can still be you. And I'm someone who is very proud of being a woman and very proud of my femininity. And Black femininity is different than white femininity. But also there's like this kaleidoscopic, you know, femininity that I've had. So it was really beautiful. And I declared myself a feminist at 10 or 11. I was in like 5th or 6th grade where I just decided I'm a feminist because I had these two incredibly strong women as role models. And in my, you know, when I came home to my Black community, it's a matriarchy. And it was a lot of, you know, I did Girl Scouts in my neighborhood, and there was a lot of mothers and aunts and sisters and grandmothers and great grandmothers. I mean, there was a lot of strong Black women that were around me. So I was like, I'm a feminist. This is how I'm going to be, you know? So I did that. And that's kind of, yeah. So Lady Black, yeah. Lady Black Kaleidoscope. Oh, wait, let's do it again. Lady Black Kaleidoscope. So, yeah. So you're probably wondering, if you haven't wondered already. Oops. See, I'm old school. You know, for right now, we're not going to do any kind of PowerPoint or anything like that, because I just like writing things out. I'm old school like that. So, question. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this channel? Why am I putting out this channel? I have about 5 reasons, or 5 goals that I hope to accomplish by this channel. Number 1, to stay engaged with the world. So, with the pandemic, with all the quarantine and everything like that, it's important to stay engaged with the world. You know, we all feel isolated, and, you know, and honestly, it gets kind of old. I mean, we've been doing this for about, at least in Philly, we've been doing it for about 4.5 months. So, you know, things get old. And I'm like, you know what, I need a project, and I'm going to do this. That's why it's called Project, because this is something I want to do. And so, yeah. It's important to stay engaged in the world, especially at this time. And it's just, this is a fun thing to do for me, you know, every day. So I'm looking forward to doing this for the next 365 days. Or longer, if, you know, you guys want to just keep on hearing me talk. Number 2. myself out in the world. Okay. I have been kind of in isolation, not before coronavirus. I'm going to tell you later in a later episode kind of what, how I was pre-corona and kind of how I got to this point. Just to say, hey, I'm a Lady Black Kaleidoscope. I am this complex person. When I was growing up, I always felt fragmented. Even up until recently, I still really felt fragmented. And I only showed certain parts to certain people, which we all do. But I think I have friends of different races and different backgrounds. So I have majority, I'm kind of that's a different thing. I'll talk about that in a second. So I always felt like I could only show parts of myself. Like when I was around white people, I only talked about things that, parts of myself that, or interests that I had, or music that I listened to that I felt that they would know. I couldn't talk about, Earth, Wind, and Fire. I couldn't talk about who was around that time, like TLC or anything like that was coming out in the 90s when I was a kid and growing up. So I talked about things, my grade school classmates were heavy into grunge, into Nirvana, into Pearl Jam, into all those things. And I was like, what? This is not music. But eventually, I think just hearing it over and over, I kind of was like, oh, this is okay. This is not too bad. And so then, okay, so let me think about it. Sorry. Anyway, but then when I talked to my black friends and my black peers, I couldn't talk about the non-black things that I liked. The Beatles, the which I'm going to talk about in a few days, my love and obsession with that group. And total Beatlemaniac. Total Beatlemaniac. There we go. Might as well just say in the first episode, because I'm going to probably talk about them all the time. So, might as well just say, put it out there. I couldn't talk about the Beatles. I couldn't talk about Ben Folds 5. I couldn't talk about the groups and the things and the movies that I saw around them because, they didn't know them. They didn't listen to them. I mean, okay, I was young. I probably made assumptions that maybe there were people who knew about, maybe there were black people who knew about non-black things, and maybe there were white people who knew about black things. But I was young, and I didn't know any better and stuff. And now, and I've always kind of had to put myself on guard, because when you are going and navigating through those environments, just being a kid, like growing up, even being a young adult, just like kind of going through those environments and kind of navigating how to carry yourself and how to act. It's just like, code switching. You have to go back and forth. It's not just how you speak and the words you say and the tone you use. It's also what you talk about. You have to know what environment you're in and kind of alter yourself for that. I'm tired of doing that. Like, I am so tired of doing that. So this channel gives me an opportunity to just talk about the things that interest me, whether they are things that white people or black people or whoever. I want to talk about things and show the complexities of my life and who I am and my view on things, because I've had this very kaleidoscopic upbringing. And yeah, so I want to put myself out in the world. Number 3. To show the world that black people are not a monolith. Kind of goes back to what I was saying. Like, we are not a monolith. There is many different black experiences as there are black people. So I'm just one of many who, I know that there are other black kaleidoscopes out there. So I'm just putting myself out there, and we are complex and we're beautiful and we have so many different experiences. And I think people are so quick to put us, and other people of color especially, or in addition to us, in addition to being black, putting us into a box. And the majority culture does. They put us into a box, and that sucks. And it's like, we are not a monolith. Even the civil rights movement. I mean, it wasn't just MLK or John Lewis, R.I.P., or C.T. Vivian, R.I.P. it's so many more. I mean, there's Ella Baker, and there's Fannie Lou Hamer, and there's Whitney Young, and there's so many thousands and thousands of unnamed people who gave their lives, gave their souls, gave their beings towards equality in their civil rights movement. Blacks are not just a monolith, and there are many different kinds of Black leadership, or just leadership in general. There's different kinds, and that's what I want to use this channel for, to show that we're not a monolith. We're not a monolith. So I think the image is powerful. I've thought about writing and doing things, which I still want to do, but I think the image is so powerful. So that's why I'm doing it. Okay. Number 4, to empower other Lady Black Kaleidoscopes. I'm not the only one out there, so I want to, empower other people to come out, because I feel like there are a lot of us in there. My grandmother was one. My mom's still alive, thankfully, and my grandmother, she died in 2008. Rest in peace and power. And I know that there are other people like me out here of all different ages, and I think I want to put myself out there and show, hey, I'm one. I know that there are others. So that's it. And then finally, to meet new people, especially my future husband and BFFs, other BFFs. So, did I put that up longer enough? I have been kind of I'm 37 years old, and I'm kind of in a crossroads of my life, and this was pre-corona. I was kind of at a crossroads. I was like, you know what, I need to meet new people. 40 is not that far away. Black don't crack, if you're wondering, like, how does she look? I don't look 37, thankfully. Jeans and everything like that. But I want to meet new people, and I think right now we can't meet in person. I was applying to go to grad school for this year, and that wasn't going to happen. So we'll have to wait until next year, hopefully, fingers crossed. But for right now, I want to meet people in person. So meet people online, not in person. Sorry. So that is why I'm doing it, and including, maybe I'm just putting it out there to the universe. Who knows? I hope a lot of people watch this. I hope to grow this, and this might be a movement. I mean, who knows? So maybe my future husband will see it. Maybe my future BFF see it. Actually, when I was originally thinking about this thing, I was like, you know what? This is going to be a year-long personal ad. Just like, hey, because I've done online dating, and I'm just like, no, I'm not feeling it. But this is another thing of online. But anyway, I want to do something different. And this is kind of weird and radical, and kind of like, hey, so this is like a year-long thing that I'm going to do. Just, putting myself out there and just putting out to the universe. And, we'll see what happens. Okay, so I've been talking for a minute. So I'm going to conclude with something from Walt Whitman's Leaves of Grass. So you might know which poem I'm going to talk about. So, Song of Myself, and which is, he's just incredible. I first discovered him when I was 16, and we learned about the Transcendentalists, which was like Thoreau and Emerson and them, which I'm probably going to talk about in another episode. But this is kind of, Song of Myself. This is what I hope to put out there. I want to, brings a little joy and a little hope and a little truth and insight, and just, empathy and compassion. And I want this to be a channel for good. I want to be a force of good and for good, and I hope that you guys get something out of it. I hope you get a lot out of it, or even a little bit out of it, a laugh or insight, whatever. So here we go. Song of Myself. I'm going to read the first stanza, the 51st stanza, and the beginning of the 52nd stanza of Song of Myself. So here we go. I celebrate myself and sing myself, and what I assume you shall assume, for every atom belonging to me as good belongs to you. I loaf and invite my soul. I lean and loaf at my ease, observing a spear of summer grass. My tongue, every atom of my blood, from this soil, formed from this soil, this air. Born here of parents, born here from parents the same and their parents the same. I, now 37 years old, in perfect health, begin hoping to cease not till death. Creeds and schools in abeyance, retiring back a while, suffice at what they are, but never forgotten. I harbor for good or bad, I permit to speak at every hazard. Nature without check with original energy. The past and present wilt. I have filled them, emptied them, and proceed to fill my next fold of the future. Listener up there, what have you to confide to me? Look in my face while I snuff the sidle of evening. Talk honestly, no one else hears you, and I stay only a minute longer. Do I contradict myself? Very well then, I contradict myself. I am large. I contain multitudes. I concentrate towards them that are nigh. I wait on the door slab. Who has done his day's work? Who will soonest be through with his supper? Who wishes to walk with me? Will you speak before I am gone? Will you prove already too late? The spotted hawk swoops by and accuses me. He complains of my gab and my loitering. I too am not a bit tame. I too am untranslatable. I sound my barbaric yarp over the roofs of the world. So, until tomorrow, till we meet again, keep on keeping on. Live out loud. And finally, embrace your kaleidoscope soul. Hug it out. Hug yourself out. Hug it out. Oh. Much love to you all. Thank you for watching this video. Click and subscribe. Welcome to this journey together. It's going to be fun. It's going to be insightful. It's going to be great. So, much love, heart, and God bless.